Hello, YouTube. So I decided to make a video about one of my hobbies that is influential in my life. So one of them is knitting. This is my current project. It's a scarf. It's kind of long already, kind of nice. And it's a couple days before school starts, because after orientation you kind of just have a couple days off before the first day of school, so that was kind of nice for my school. And I thought I would just overload my time with those couple of days off on a bunch of hobbies and maybe some socializing. So I just wanted to see if I could just get all of the things I like to do in before school starts and my life goes into a frenzy of studying. So yeah, I started knitting when I was in second grade. So I was like 7 years old when I started knitting. Didn't know what I was doing at the time. My mom kind of just taught me how to the basics, like the knit and then purl essentially. And then I just kind of took it off from there. The current pattern I am doing is called the star stitch. Kind of looks like this. It's all ribbed and stuff. And you know how when you're a kid and you watched, if you were in my generation, I guess, and you watched Tweety Bird and Sylvester the cat, and then the grandma lady was always going knit one, purl two. So that's a pattern, and that pattern is the rib stitch. And so it looks like your normal typical like sweater hat, where there's like one row that looks braided and the other row that's all in. So that's what that is. The star stitch right now that I'm doing currently is a pattern with 4 different rows. So you have to remember not only to knit and purl, but the different rows have a different way of doing things. So the first row is you knit the whole thing. So that's like the easy row. And the second row, you kind of make things a little bit harder. So I'll show you because I'm on the second row right now. So you knit the first thing, and then afterwards you put your needle into 3 of the loops on this end. And, oh, I forgot to. And you purl it into those 3. So, yeah. After that, you put your yarn over this needle that you pulled through, and then you pull it through, and you make a loop over, and then you go back into those 3 because you haven't left that stitch yet, and then you pull that through as well. So then that makes you 3 little loops on this end. Then after that you knit and you repeat. So yeah. I wrote my personal statement with knitting in my personal statement to make it more unique, I guess, to try to make myself stand out, because really there are a ton of people applying, so you're going to have to try to stand out some way. And my first sentence start with knit 1, purl 2. So that's actually one of the reasons why I found that this hobby really speaks to me, and I think I'm like really grateful for it, because you kind of make something out of just a ball of yarn, right? It's cool that you can make these patterns, and just everything is pretty nice. And I'm using size 13 needles, and the yarn I'm using is Burnout Blanket, I think in like charcoal gray or something. I have these like really cheap needles from Walmart. They are, I think, Boy brand. Super beat up. If you notice, this is all silver now because I scratched it with this. It's because I'm not very good. I'm kind of amateurish, even though I started when I was 7 years old. Yeah, I use the American style, which is also why this scratching all happens. And the needles themselves aren't that good because they're kind of cheap from Walmart. I do have nice needles that I use for hats and stuff. And I also like the fact that I can make these and give them away as Christmas gifts because the effort that I've put into it counts for something. I know that buying a hat or buying a scarf is way cheaper and way more efficient, but if I made it, it's a lot more personal. So yeah. Just talking about my stories in life. I don't know. Knitting's nice. It's like therapeutic and kind of soothing. Just kind of doing a repetitive motion over and over. So after the second row, you knit the third row. To its entirety, and then the fourth row is a little different, but then after you do the fourth row, you repeat the 4 rows again consistently for this star stitch. I know that I'm not being very thorough with that, but there are plenty of other YouTube videos that show you how to knit the star stitch. I'm just kind of talking about my story with knitting and how I found knitting. Yeah, my mom taught me at a very young age because I started knitting club in 4th grade. Yeah, so I was kind of a ambitious little elementary school kid. Also, living in New York, knitting was nice because in the winter, like, it kept your hands warm. But now I'm in Arizona, so knitting makes my hands super sweaty, and I'm just constantly just sweating, which is bad. But luckily, these are machine washable. So yeah, make sure to find materials or like any yarns that are machine washable, because yarn can get gross from when you sweat all over them. All right, well, after I finish this row, I'll see if you guys have any questions or comments. You can leave them in the description below and let me know if you want to see any more of just me talking while knitting, or if you want to do study with me once school actually starts. I think that'll be cool. I don't know how I'm going to edit and film these things because I'm very new to YouTube and at video editing, so that's why my videos have been kind of iffy, but I'm learning and I just want to share my experiences and what my life's like, because sometimes it's not all daisies and roses. I don't think that's a real phrase, but I made it up. Or it sounds like something that would be a phrase at the very least. All right, well, I will talk to you next time. Signing out. Bye.